Hey guys, today let's see how to do authentication in Angular 2 apps. I've already talked about authentication a lot of times before when I was doing the same for Ionic 2, if you might remember. Today this tutorial is a response to several people asking me how to do the same for Angular 2 applications, and I've also heard that a lot of people were struggling with it. So why not? I wanted to just go ahead and help you guys out. So let's get started. First of all, as usual, I'll get the quick start repo from Angular 2 official website, that is the angular.io. Downloading it. Okay, we'll just clone this. And we'll name it Angular 2 auth. Okay, then just cd into the and then run npm install. Let this go on. Meanwhile, we'll use the authentication backend which we wrote for Ionic 2 authentication. That is the Ionic authentication which I showed before. That can be used. That's a RESTful API authentication, as you might know, and it provides a couple of REST endpoints, right? So that can be used for this application as well, since Angular 2 will be dealing only in the front end. So let's go ahead and get that as well. I'll just go to my wow, several guys have started my repos. And then I'll just take this Ionic 2 authentication. This is running. And I'll clone it inside here. Sorry. Yeah guys, it's done. As you can see, let's just fire this up and see if it works once. Yeah, it works. Okay, let's go ahead and proceed with our code. I'll just close Firefox. I have opened up the folder here in Visual Studio Code, as you could see. So this is the editor I'm going to be using for this demo. Let's go ahead and first of all, what we need to do is we need to create a login page, and then we need to have a dashboard page. Upon logging in successfully, upon successful authentication, the user will go to the dashboard page. And if he doesn't log in, or if the authentication fails, then he should remain in the login page. That's the whole concept of authentication, right? So we'll go ahead and do that first. To do that, I'll just add router here. Okay, and then what else I need to add? Router, what was that? I guess it's router providers. Yeah, router providers. It's a constant array. And then HTTP. Not, it's not needed now. What's the issue with this? Okay, and this is an issue obviously, since I made a mistake here. this doesn't come from there. I should write a separate Angular 2/router. Okay, that's done. Now let's go ahead and use this in our app.component.ts. What we'll be doing here is we need to write the root configurations, right? First of all, let me create a new folder and name it as login, and in that folder I'll create two files, login.html and one more login.component.ts file. Okay, now in the app.component.ts here I'll remove this, and instead of this I'll use a router outlet. Obviously you guys know what a router outlet is used for. I explained this in my Angular 2 routing tutorial which I posted previously. And then here I'll just import the router directives, which is a constant array containing all the references to the classes exported from the Angular 2 router module. So Angular 2/router. Okay. Now this will include the router outlet, right? Still we need to add the directives, I guess. Directives, router directives. Okay. Now we need to write the root config. This will take an array, and what's this? Not finding root. Oh, this should be here, right? Root config. Yeah, this will take a path, and that path will be login, and name would be login. Let's name it as login, and then we'll add one more thing, that is the component name, I guess. Component, it should be login component, right? Okay, now login component, and then we'll use this as default. Login. Okay, users default is a boolean, I guess. True. Okay, now we'll write one more path, which will be the otherwise path. This path will take other name other, and redirect to, this will take an array login. Okay, now this shows an underline because we don't have a login component yet, right? That is the problem. Login component from login/login.component, and just go there and start writing it. Export class login component. This will, first of all, let's import component from Angular 2/core. Okay, and export class login component. What this will have is wait, I'll write the decorator declaration first. And component selectors is not needed. Template URL would be what was that? app/login/login.html, right? Okay, this is done. Oh, template URL is not equal to, it's just colon. Okay, this is done. Now what next? We'll go ahead and design the login.html page. We'll just save these things. Login.html, yeah, here it is. what we'll have in login.html is a simple form which will have username and password. That's more than enough, I guess. And to make things a bit fancy, I'll use the materialize CSS framework here. I'll go ahead and add the stuff related necessary for those material design icons, the CSS files and everything. Okay, now I'll go to login.html, and then you know what, I'll just go ahead and I've already done this somewhere, guys. So I'll delete this off and copy paste that here. First of all, I'll paste the CSS just for saving time, right? Okay, I'll just go ahead and paste this here and then use this class here. Let's see the outcome. Yeah, we have a beautiful card, right? If we click this, we get a form which has two fields, username and password, and it has three buttons: login, sign up and clear. As of now, the buttons are not hooked up to anything. Let's go ahead and do that. First, let's go ahead and create the users, guys. Local user, I will create a local user first. Local user would be username. This would be blank field, and then I'll have one more password. This also would be blank. Okay, now what else do we need? We need a constructor, right? We need a constructor, yeah. Okay, we'll go ahead and create that constructor. And what else do we, for now it will be blank. Okay, now we'll write a login function. Or the better approach would be to write it in a service and then invoke that here, right? That would be the better approach. So we'll just go ahead and create a services folder. Inside that folder, I'll just have a what can we name this? Auth service.ts. Okay. Here I'll just export auth service. Auth class auth service, and then I'll import. This would be an injectable, obviously, from Angular 2 /core. Okay, we'll just this would obviously, I'll just put in an injectable decorator here, export class auth service, and then I'll have a local value called this logged in, and this will be a boolean. This will check whether the user is logged in or not, and then from here we need to make a HTTP request, right? So I'll go ahead and import HTTP and headers from Angular 2 /HTTP, and the index.html file, I'll go ahead and add the import for HTTP. Okay, save this and then go back to where authservice.ts HTTP headers, and then I'll use a constructor. What I'll do is I'll create a private table for HTTP. Okay, a common reference so that we could use it here, and then I'll have a login function here. I'll get the user credentials from the login.ts file, obviously, and I'll make use of them here. First I'll set this .is logged in equal to false, and then where headers, I'll create new headers, and then where creds equal to first we need to encode it, right? Name plus user creds.username plus ampersand password equal to plus user creds.password. Okay, now we have the credentials in the encoded form. What we need to do is append the headers dot append content type, and this will be application. Okay, then what we'll be doing is we have the headers now, we have the credentials now. Go ahead and make the request. This dot post. First, the post variable will take the URL, obviously localhost 3333 authenticate, and then it will take the credentials, and then it will take the headers, right? Headers it will take this form. Okay, and then it will return an observable on which we can obviously subscribe. Oh, sorry guys, it's too small. I'll just go ahead and increase the size. Letter dot font size 16. Right. Okay, close this out. Now go back to authservice.ts. Yeah, it's big now, right? Subscribe data. Break this into a new line. Yeah, then if data dot json dot success, then we'll be setting a local storage, right? Set item auth key, and we'll set that dot json dot token, and this dot is logged in will be true, and then we'll resolve it to this dot is logged in. We'll close this here. Okay, now the if is closed there, and we have resolved this promise. Oh, sorry, we didn't write it as a promise, right? First of all, we need to write this entire thing as a promise. Return new promise. Resolve. Sorry. Okay, now we have a promise. It will make a call, HTTP post call, and if the call is successful, it will return true. If the call fail, it will save the token to the local storage and return true. If the call is a failure, if authentication fails, then it will return false. This is what we are doing here in this service. Let's make use of this service in login.component.ts. obviously here login, and then this would be calling the service, right? We'll import the service here first. Import auth service from dot outside of this folder, services auth service, no, not auth service, auth service. Okay, now we can make use of this by adding it as a provider here. Providers auth service, right? And constructor will just this dot service dot login function, local user, sorry, this dot local user dot then response, sorry, response. If response, then we'll add a router here. Import router from Angular2/router. Okay. If response, then this dot router we need to give it here, right? Otherwise we can't use it. Private router this dot underscore router equal to dot navigate. Where do we want to go? Dashboard, right? Okay, this dot router dot if the response is successful, it will be else console dot log response, so that we can view the error message, right? Okay, now we have a login function. This will work wonderfully if I hadn't made any errors. We don't have the dashboard, obviously we need to do that, so I'll create a new folder, name it as dashboard, and in this folder we'll have two files, dashboard.component.ts will be one file and dashboard.html will be the other file. Okay, now dashboard.component will have export class dashboard component and import component from Angular2/core. Okay, I have exported this. I'll just add the decorator declaration component template URL be dashboard.html, right? Yeah. Now okay, this dashboard.html would have a simple message, hello, logged in, and then maybe it will have a button for logout, obviously. Button click equal to logout. Okay, now this I'll write it here, logout function, this dot window dot local storage dot remove item auth_key, which we set there while logging in. And then what else we need to do? We should redirect the user back to so we need a router for that, right? Back to login page. Import router from Angular2/router, and then for using that we need to give a local reference, private. Okay, this dot navigate, this will take an array. I'll give login here. So yeah, dashboard is done. Dashboard file, we have a single button for logout, and then login is done. Login component.ts, we have written two functions. One is the login function, which will call another function which is present inside a service, and it will pass the username and password from here to there. And then if the authentication is successful, then it will return true, upon which we will be navigated to the dashboard page. Yeah, this is fine. What else is needed here? Auth service.ts, we have written it, and I think it's almost perfect. It's almost perfect now. So we'll go back to app.component.ts and write one more path here, obviously for dashboard. Dashboard component, dashboard, dashboard. Okay, now similar to this, dashboard, dashboard component. Okay, now let's see if this goes fine. First of all, obviously there are a lot of errors. No provider for HTTP login component, auth service HTTP. Where is it? Oh, sorry guys, I should have included that there that time itself, right? Main.ts file version. Here we did for router providers. Similarly, we'll do for HTTP providers. And then this will be an array, obviously. Okay. Now let's see if this goes fine. Yeah, let's just, the backend is running, right? Yeah, backend is running. So I'll just give test user and its password. Yeah, it's logged in, right? Now we have a button logout. Let's just check our local storage whether this has happened. Yeah, local storage auth key is present and this is present. Check in the backend whether the request has come in. Yeah, the post request has come in, 200 success response. So yeah, this is working fine, right guys? So now you have an understanding of what happens. I'll just quickly summarize this up and tell you once again. First of all, in the app.component.ts file, we have written the root configurations. We have written for three routes, that is the login, dashboard and other. Other is not necessary because whatever URL pattern comes other than these two, it will redirect to one of these two. That is the whole concept of other. I have explained routers more in detail in my previous post, so kindly refer to that post. Okay, so for now, what is happening is, first it will go to login page since it's the default page, as you could see. So even if I give something, it's immediately taking us to the login page, right? So since it's the default page, it's going to the login page, and then from there, if I give the username and password correctly, it will take me to the dashboard page. Yeah, so it will take me to the dashboard page. From the dashboard page, there is a logout button, and if I click that logout button, it will come out and remove the local storage as well. So as you can see, the local storage is removed and this is okay. Now what is the correct implementation? How to check whether this is the correct implementation of authentication is to traverse to a route that should be opened only upon authentication, right? But here this dashboard route can be opened even without authentication. So what's the point of writing all this code? What's the point of where is security in this application? This is the question you might ask. So to fix this, we should navigate to routes only, navigate to the routes that are only public and not behind the authentication layer, right? So what we need, authentication screen, right? So what we need to do is we need to write a mechanism so that we analyze the routes, and then based on some factors we pass the routes. That is, we navigate to those routes. If those factors are not passed, then we shouldn't navigate, right? That's the whole point of authentication. So let's go ahead and write code for that. To do that, I'll just simply create another file called authcheck. Authcheck.ts. Okay, and what this file will contain is not to mention, I mean, I would like to mention this, guys. This part of this entire part of authentication, the root authentication, I learned it from another site. I don't know, I can't remember which site, but this is something which I didn't try out and code it on my own. I learned it entirely from another site. So let's go ahead and implement this actually. I'll just implement directive attribute element reference and dynamic loading component. Dynamic component, loader from angular 2/core obviously, and then what else I need to import the roots, right? Root and then router outlet, and then component instruction. This thing I'll explain later. Component instruction, why we use that, I'll explain this. Angular 2/router, right? Okay. Then we'll go ahead and write the code. First of all, we'll extend our directive to do more stuff. How do we do that? We simply say, as you know, this is the directive which we used here. Where is it? Here, the same directive I'm using in authcheck, right? What I'm doing is I'm extending the functionality, I'm tweaking the functionalities of router outlet so that it performs authentication in our app. That's the whole point of this, right? Export class authcheck extends router outlet, obviously, since I am tweaking the functionality of this. Public roots, this will be, and then I'll have another private variable, private parent router. This will be router, obviously. Okay, now we have two things, and this is okay. And we'll write a constructor, then constructor. First of all, for element ref, and this will be element ref. Then for the loader, I'll use dynamic component loader, and then for the parent router, and then attribute main. Okay, constructor will take in whatever. Oh, so it should contain a super class, right? So super element ref, comma loader, comma parent router, comma name attribute. Sorry, we did a leave space here. Okay, still what's the problem? Yeah. Sorry guys, I just messed up with the casing. Okay, name attributor. Now what this is super, right? Why did I use this colon here? This is equal to, obviously, and then this is the public roots which we are defining. This will have one root which is login, obviously, and then the dashboard shouldn't be a public root, right? Okay, now we'll write a activate function. What this activate function will do is it will check, or it will rather filter the wait, let me show you. Component instruction, then let the URL be instruction dot URL dot params path, and then if not public routes, we can't use public routes directly. Let this dot public routes URL, and not local storage dot get item. What was that? Auth key, right? Auth key. Okay, if this dot parent router dot navigate to login. Okay, into login. Oh, this navigate we should use by URL, otherwise it won't. Okay, this not parent navigate not. Then what we need to do is need to return from this super.activate instruction. Okay, what this does is it has a reference to a router, right? And then it has a set of public routes, which is the login and sign up route usually, and the about us and similar description pages as well. Now what this will do is whenever route navigation takes place, it will look at the URL, and if the URL is not in the public URL and there is no authentication key set in the local storage, then it will navigate back to login URL. That is, the authentication should not happen, the user should not be taken to that page. That's the whole purpose of writing this authcheck.ts, right? So if the URL is a public route, or if the URL is not in the public route and there is a navigation key present there, then it should automatically take to that route, right? That is why we are writing here super.activate instruction. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll check this whether this works first. We'll click on logout, login, test user, test, and then I logged in. The login works fine, and the resources as an authentication key. Okay, everything is fine. I logged out. The authentication key is no more present. Now I am trying to go to dashboard. Oh, it still goes. It shouldn't go, right? That's the. Oh, yeah. We have written the authservice.ts here, but we haven't yet connected it with our original application, right? So what we need to write is import. That's just a directive, right? Authservice.ts. Authservice from what was that? Auth check dot not authservice. Oh god, this is auth check. Check from auth check. What's that auth check? Okay. Then instead of router directives, we can simply use our newly modified directive. Just the auth check directive. Let it refresh and let's see if this works. First of all, I'm logging in. Okay, there is an auth key and it's been set, and then I'm inside the dashboard page. I'm logging out. The auth key disappears, obviously. Now I'm trying to access dashboard. I'm redirected back to login page, right? So this is the whole point of authentication, right? Now I think I have explained it to you in a simple way. I might have spent a lot of time typing out the code, but obviously it would help you if you typed it out along with me, and if you followed, if you typed it out along with this tutorial. So that's why I didn't edit out parts here and there and just kept on typing the code. Okay, this is how authentication is done in a simple way. The authentication can be done in a simple way in Angular 2 apps, guys. So as you could see, this is a continuation, or this is the sequel to the backend which I have written for the Ionic authentication. That same backend could be used here. Just get the backend and then start writing your app for it. And then also you could see one more useful thing is that if whatever route you want to make public, you just add it here in public routes. All the other routes will be authenticated routes. That is only if you add authenticator, only if authentication is successful, you will be able to access all those pages. So it's plain and simple, right? We are tackling it at the root level. That's what, not root. Oh, that's a play of words. I mean this root level, ROUTE level. Okay, so yeah, this is how authentication can be done in a simple way, guys. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. There were a lot of guys asking me how to do proper authentication in Angular 2. So yeah, that's the whole point of this tutorial. If you found this video helpful, kindly help some other guy by sharing it around. And if you like this video, click on subscribe and subscribe to my channel for more updated videos. So yeah, that's it guys. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.